This story is called Bring Me the Head of Medusa, the story of Perseus. And you'll find this story in the wonderful Orchard Book of First Greek Myths. Let us begin. There was once a young man called Perseus, whose mother was very, very beautiful. His father had died when he was just a baby, so Perseus and his mother were all alone in this world. Now, the evil king of the land was desperate to marry Perseus's mother, but every time he asked her, she said no. She did not like his angry, mean face. Perseus did his best to protect his mother from the king's anger, so the evil king plotted to get rid of Perseus. One day, the king called Perseus to his court. I will leave your mother in peace, he said, but only on one condition. What condition is that? Asked Perseus. The king chuckled, and he said, Bring me the head of the monster Medusa on a plate. And there you can see the king challenging Perseus. Your wish is my command, said Perseus, trying not to tremble, and off he stamped. Now, Medusa and her sisters were scary monsters called gorgons. In fact, you can see a picture of Medusa on the front of the story. Scary, eh? So, Medusa and her sisters were scary monsters called gorgons, and instead of hair, they had snakes sprouting all over their heads. Anyone who looked at Medusa's face was instantly turned to stone. Now, Perseus was brave, but he was not foolish. He knew he would need help to defeat her, so he went to see a wise man, as you do. How can I help you, Perseus? Asked the wise man from his cave. Here's a picture of Perseus with the wise man. I've promised to take the evil king the head of Medusa on a plate, replied Perseus. You are a silly boy, gasped the wise man. Help me, I beg you, pleaded Perseus. The wise man gave Perseus a shield. It was so shiny that Perseus could see his own reflection in it. When you are about to kill the Gorgon, the wise man said, do not look directly at her. Use this as a mirror. Then he gave Perseus a sword with a crystal blade to cut off Medusa's head. Oh, thank you, cried Perseus, and he turned to leave. But not so fast, said the wise man. Medusa is a very dangerous monster. These weapons alone are not enough. You will also need a helmet that will make you invisible, a pair of sandals with wings so that you can fly, and a silver bag to put Medusa's head in. But where will I find them? Asked Perseus. Now, the wise man paused. You must go and see the 3 witches. They live in a hut at the bottom of Mount Atlas. They only have one eye between them, so it shouldn't be difficult to creep up on them. Now, Perseus thanked his friend once again and set off to find the 3 witches. I hear footsteps, said one of the witches as Perseus approached the cave. Her sister grabbed the one eye and put it in. I can't see anything, she said. Let me have a look, whined the other sister. This is them fighting over the eye. whined the other sister. But just as the second witch was handing over the eye, Perseus leapt forward and grabbed it from her hand.
"No, he does not!"
cried the witch, thinking it was one of her sisters.
"It wasn't me!"
Said the first witch.
"Then who was it?"
The three witches cried together. Me! Shouted Perseus boldly, and I'll only hand it back if you give me what I want.
"Well, what do you want?"
They demanded, all three together, showing their broken teeth. Sandals and wings, a magic helmet and a silver bag. 3 things, please. I know you have them in here somewhere, he cried out. Now the witches knew they had no choice. They felt their way around the hut and found what Perseus wanted. Remember those 3 things. Now, the young hero had everything he needed to kill Medusa. He gave the witches back the eye and headed to the Gorgon's lair. As his winged sandals carried him through the sky, Perseus could feel his heart beating quickly. He knew he had to be brave if he was going to save his mother from the evil king, but he also knew what awaited him. He put on the helmet to make himself invisible. He gritted his teeth and flew into the cave. Do you think you would be that brave? He had never seen such a ghastly sight. The snakes on Medusa's head were hissing loudly. Her sisters wailed noisily on either side of her. Ooh, here's a photo of them. Oh, not very nice looking, are they? Oh, and what do you see in the background? What's happened to these people here? Perseus knew he had no time to lose. He picked up his crystal sword and dived at Medusa. She heard him coming and looked up. The snakes hissed louder and louder, and her sisters screamed with fright. How had someone got into their cave without them noticing? Perseus grabbed a handful of snakes, and taking care not to look directly at Medusa, he raised his sword with the other hand, and with one blow, Medusa's head came off her neck. Quickly, Perseus put the head in the silver bag, and swooped up into the air. Now Medusa's sisters chased after him, screaming and wailing and shrieking, reaching up for him into the sky. Quickly, Perseus flew on. The sisters still couldn't see him, but they could follow the smell of Medusa's blood. Perseus heard them shrieking and wailing. Ha, he thought to himself, they'll never catch me with these winged sandals. And soon he had left Medusa's sisters far behind. Now, as soon as he was home, Perseus went straight to the evil king. The king was very surprised to see him still alive and well.
"Have you brought me what I wanted?"
he asked, smiling to himself.
"Ha! Of course you haven't. Now I will marry your mother after all."
"Stop right there," said Perseus, and suddenly he pulled Medusa's head out of the silver bag for the cruel king to see. "Do you like it?" he asked. But of course, the king did not reply. He had looked at the face of Medusa and was turned instantly to stone. I hope you like the story.